Good morning, class. Today we are going to start our new topic, which is type of elasticity of demand. Dear student, in our previous session we studied about elasticity factor of determining the elasticity of demand. We studied about percentage method. Okay, so today we are going to study about type of elasticity of demand. Dear student, there are three different type of elasticity of demand. Okay, the price elasticity of demand is basic of them, which we studied in our earlier session, and you all are familiar with price elasticity of demand. Okay student, now we will study about two different type of elasticity of demand, which is income elasticity of demand and cross elasticity of demand in this session. Okay student, now let us start. Our first part is price elasticity of demand. This is price elasticity of demand. You all are familiar with price elasticity of demand. That price elasticity of demand represents the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Okay, when percentage change in price, when price of a commodity changes, okay, due to this the percentage change in quantity demand is determined by price elasticity of demand. The formula of price elasticity of demand is ed equals to delta q upon delta p into p upon q. This is the formula of price elasticity of demand, which we studied in our previous session. Okay student, you all are familiar with this. Now next is income elasticity of demand. Dear student, income elasticity of demand represents income elasticity of demands basically represents the percentage change in quantity demanded of a commodity due to percentage change in income of a consumer, and all other things remain constant, like all other variable of demand. You all are familiar with the demand variables like taste, preference, price of related good, price of the commodity. When all these variable remain constant, and due to change in income, when our quantity demanded changes, it's simply represented by or calculated by the income elasticity of demand. Okay student, that's why income elasticity of demand measures the degree of change in demand to change in income. It is also be defined as the ratio of percentage change in quantity demanded to the percentage change in income, and symbolically it is represented as EI. Okay, this is represented by this. Y represents income in economic. So elasticity demand of income. Okay, income elasticity of demand, which is represented by you can say which is represented by EY, or in this case it is represented as EI. So income elasticity of demand is percentage change in demand of a commodity divided by percentage change in income, which is represented symbolically as EI equals to delta Q upon Q divided by delta Y upon Y. And when we solve this particular equation, or when we reciprocal this, we get EI equals to delta Q divided by Q, and when we reciprocal it, we will get Y upon delta Y, which we can write as delta Q upon delta Y into Y upon Q. Okay, both the term just shift their place. Okay, so our formula of income elasticity of demand is EI equals to delta Q upon delta Y into Y upon Q. This is the formula of income elasticity of demand. Okay student, this represents the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in income. Okay dear student, now type of income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand are basically three types: positive income elasticity of demand, negative income elasticity of demand, and zero elasticity of demand. Okay, first, positive elasticity of demand. Basically, the positive elasticity of demand represents that when income of a consumer increases, its quantity demanded increases, and when income of a consumer decreases, its quantity demand decreases. We can write as when income like Y increases, income of a consumer increases, its quantity demanded increases. Okay, when income of consumer decreases, its quantity demand decreases. So this shows a direct relationship between income and quantity demand. Okay, so this represents the positive income elasticity. Okay, dear student. Now, negative income elasticity. When the amount demanded of a commodity decreases with the increase in income of the consumer and vice versa. Okay, it simply represents that when income of a consumer increases, its quantity demand decreases, and when income of a consumer decreases, its quantity demand decreases. So this shows a negative or inverse relationship between income and quantity demand. So this represents the in negative income elasticity. Now, zero income elasticity means when change in income does not bring any change in quantity demanded by the consumer, then it is known as zero income elasticity. It means when your income increase or your income decrease but the quantity demanded remain constant. Okay, remain constant. So this represented by zero income elasticity. There is no change in quantity demanded of a commodity due to change in income. This is known as zero income elasticity. Okay, dear student, now move towards our third point. Now we have studied about price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand. Now this is our third point or third type of elasticity of demand. It is cross elasticity of demand. Okay, basically this type of elasticity of demand you will find in the case of substitute goods or complementary goods. We all are familiar with the concept of substitute and complementary good. Substitute goods are like tea and coffee, which we can substitute for each other, like Colgate, Pepsodent, okay, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. All these are substitute good. And if we talk about complementary good means those goods which fulfill each other's demand, like car and petrol. Okay, they are complementary good. Okay, like butter and bread, they are complementary good. Like pen and ink, they are complementary good. So all these are complementary goods which fulfill each demand. Okay, and which is demanded jointly. That's why it is also known as jointly demanded goods. Okay, student. So in this cross elasticity of demand, this cross elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of demand of a commodity to a change in price of other related commodity. Okay, so always remember that in cross elasticity of demand you have always two goods. Okay, as in the case of substitute good you have two goods, in the case of complementary good you have two goods. So cross elasticity of demand you will always study about two goods. Okay, so this measures the responsiveness of demand of a commodity to a change in price of other related commodity. Okay, suppose the price of tea, okay, increase or decrease. What is the impact of price of tea on coffee? Okay, its quantity demand increase or decrease. When you studied the relationship of two commodity and when they impact the price and quantity demand of each other, it is represented by cross elasticity of demand. Okay, student. So in this case you can see that in other words, cross elasticity of demand measures that by how much the quantity demanded will rise or fall given a change in price of another commodity. Okay, when price of another commodity changes due to change in price of another commodity, how much the price of the first commodity, how much the quantity demanded of the first commodity changes, it is known represented by cross elasticity of demand. We can see the formula like cross elasticity of demand equals to percentage change in demand of commodity X divided by percentage change in price of Y. Okay, suppose we have tea and coffee. Okay, then when price of coffee increases, so due to this increase in price of coffee, okay, so due to this increase in price of coffee, how much quantity of tea increases or decreases? When we measure this particular terms, when we measure these terms of coffee and quantity demanded, then we are measuring cross elasticity of demand. Okay, student. So percentage change in quantity demand of X divided by percentage change in Y, which is symbolically represent as EC equals to delta Q of X divided by quantity of X divided by delta P change in price of Y divided by Y. Okay, this is, we can write this, delta Q of X commodity divided by quantity of X commodity, and this term divided by delta py, price of y, changes price of y commodity divided by price of y. When you reciprocal this term to above, then you will find that delta qx upon qx into py, price of y commodity divided by delta py. Okay student, when you reciprocal our later term, okay, when you reciprocal the our earlier term, then you will find this. Okay, so you can simply, and by converting this, by interchanging this, you can simply write that delta qx divided by delta py into price of y divided by quantity of x. So this is the formula of cross elasticity of demand. Okay, change in quantity demanded of x commodity divided by change in price of y commodity into price of y commodity divided by quantity of x commodity. So this is the formula of cross elasticity of demand. Okay student, okay, in this particular in your syllabus you have only definitions of cross price income elasticity of demand and cross elasticity of demand. You have only the definitions, no need to do the numerical questions, because you have only few numerical questions of price elasticity of demand. Okay, so this is only the theoretical part or definition part of cross elasticity of demand and income elasticity of demand. Okay student, now this is our cross elasticity of demand. Now let's talk about the type of cross elasticity of demand. Dear student, there are three types of cross elasticity of demand. First is positive cross elasticity of demand, second is negative cross elasticity of demand, and third is zero cross elasticity of demand. First, positive cross elasticity. Cross elasticity of demand in case of substitute good will be positive. Okay, always remember that you will find positive cross elasticity of demand in the case of substitute good only, like tea and coffee. If price of coffee rises, okay, price of coffee rises, then demand of tea increases, because coffee price rise, people switch towards tea. Okay, so this type of demand is called positive cross elasticity of demand, and this type of demand is found found mainly in substitute goods. Okay, now next is in negative cross elasticity. This type of cross elasticity of demand is basically found in complementary goods. Okay, you all are familiar with the complementary goods. Complementary goods are like bread, butter, milk, sugar, pen, ink. Okay, in this type of goods you will find the negative cross elasticity of demand. For example, if price of pen increases, okay, then quantity demand of ink also increases. Okay, sorry, also decreases. When price of pen increases, then quantity demanded of ink decreases, and when price of pen decreases, then quantity demand of ink increases. So this shows an inverse relationship between pen and ink. Ink's price of pen increases, quantity demand of ink decreases. So this represents the negative cross elasticity of demand. Okay student, now move to zero cross elasticity of demand. Zero cross elasticity of demand means when commodity which are not related to each other, okay, commodities which are not related to each other, it simply represents the zero cross elasticity of demand. For example, if price of milk rises, milk changes, then there is no impact on clothes, or there is no impact on other commodities. So it's only depend upon the type of commodity. So in this category, zero cross elasticity of demand, we will find goods which are not related to each other. So student, this is your cross elasticity of demand and its different types. So now our chapter is finished in this point, in this part. Okay, we have only the numerical portion left, okay, which we will do in our next video. Okay student, now stay safe, stay at home.